Do 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 do. All right, are we going? Is this True Blue? Is it recording? It looks like it. All right. Hey guys, anyone who's coming here, I've been saying that I'm gonna do some tutorials, and I've been saying I would do that for a very, very long time. So here we are. Yeah. Making tutorials. And today we are going to talk about lift and trace, or place and trace, or something and trace to the effect. This is something I talk to a lot of animators about and don't hear many people know about it or use it. So I want to change that a little bit after I change my levels. Holy shit. Let's bring that shit down. Okay. Lift and trace is a super cool technique made by the old Disney dudes, specifically for getting the best in between you possibly can, right? There's a way to do it on paper. It's way easier to do, or well, depending on who you ask, it's way easier to do one way or the other. I prefer it in digital, but I feel more comfortable in digital as well. It's a really, really simple concept. You basically take a part of a drawing that you like, i.e. a part of a key, and take that segment and match it up against another key. And you basically draw like the line perfectly in between like the two shadows, and it will get you like the in between for it. Of course, it has its limitations. Like if you're going from like it's not going to work if you're going to go from like profile to straight ahead, right? That's too big of a jump, and like your body slash the doodles won't line up. It's used a lot on faces. It can be used on hands, really anything super complex. And I decided to do it with this little Midna from an animation I made a little while ago. This is probably the most complex head bit that I've had to do. Ended up doing all of the keys after making like a 3D model, but that's entirely beside the point. Once you have your keys down, which these ones are basically down, like this is changing size. Like even from here to here, it's changing size. Like it doesn't actually flow the right way. Maybe I should fix that up. Or I could say fuck it and just, it won't ruin the example necessarily. It's just the volumes are already changing, and so it'll basically just in between, and you'll see it change in size as it goes, specifically this spot. Anyway, let's get down to business. How do you do lift and trace, Kevin? That's a good question. What you're going to want to do is find the where you want the in-between to go, right? We're going to turn on our onion skin, and then we're going to put it on, let's just say the previous frame, and we're going to turn that pretty high up. We're then going to go to the next frame. We're going to grab this noggin, as much of it as we can. We're going to give that shit a save, copy that to a brush, or copy, paste, whatever, and plop it right back onto the canvas. So this is the really important thing when doing lift and trace. You need to have anchor points, specifically 2 anchor points that you can go from, right? Like, and it can be anything so long as it doesn't morph that much, right? So like an eye would be a terrible thing, because like if you look at it here, it's closed, now it's open, it's closed, it's open. what I was taught is it's really good to pick like just between the eyes and just under the nose. Like that, though, that spot generally doesn't change even when you're squishing and squashing your character all to hell. And if they are squishing and squashing all to hell, you probably don't need to get the perfect in between. Luckily, this entire like head piece of hers is solid. So another thing I could do is like this corner and this corner. Technically, this should not have moved or rotated. And again, I can put it here or here. I'm going to stick with the between the eye, under the nose, between the eye, and under the nose. Right? So let's turn that onion skinning back on. Now what we're going to want to do is press that Control T. Rotate it so that these points obviously aren't going to line up, right? So what you want to do is put them as much in a line as you possibly can. Like, that's simply it. And as close to dead center as you can. So I did my best here to try and put this point and this, or this point and this point equidistant apart from the other two, and like it is in like a straight line. You're then going to want to take that frame that you just made and put it on a different layer. I know, stick with me. This is complex. It's getting intense. And then you're going to want to lower the opacity on that layer. You now have everything set up to like make that the perfect in between. So what you're going to do is get on to your just gonna get onto your frame, and you're gonna find like point A, point B, get that in between, point A, point B, get that in between, and boop, just slap them together just like that. I'll probably speed this part up as I continue with this, as I just try and get as in between these lines as I possibly can. I know that's like the polar opposite of like what you would want to do. Just naturally as an animator, like this is very, very much only something that you would normally do when doing final line, right? Like if you're roughing it out, don't worry about this. Really, this is the kind of thing you worry about when you're like, yep, it's time to finish the scene and I want everything to be perfect, and I don't want to spend a lot of time flipping back and forth between the drawings and drawing and erasing and drawing and erasing, which even that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And once you kind of get used to it, it's going to be weird, right? At first, things aren't gonna look right. Like the first time you do lift and trace, you're gonna see what you're gonna do exactly as I said, and you're gonna see what happened, and then you're gonna be like, yep, this looks terrible and I can't use it. And don't worry if that is the case. You will eventually kind of get used to it, and you'll learn the ins and outs of the trick that will allow you to kind of know when to use it, like how to adjust it, because there's still like some little stuff here and there that you still need to deal with when it comes to the placing of the new frame. Because remember, I'm going off of an onion skin frame, and I moved the next frame right on top of it. So there's no way in hell that this is going to okay, wait, hang on, I need to like look at this. It does matter, like if you do get lost between the two drawings, it's cool to be able to flip on and off like onion skin and make sure you're on the right path. But yeah, like even after this, I have one more step, that being to go ahead and move the drawing back where it would be on its arc, right? Like this part's a little wonky because I need to basically pretend, yeah, that this is like half and half. Okay. This also doesn't work terribly well for things that would have secondary action on them. So like the ears are kind of flopping around, and so I don't really want to in between those on this. It's really, really only for like the face, what's morphing, and if it's like a big complex object that's moving around through space, like that's really where it's gonna help you out the most in this case. And again, like I really don't know how this is gonna look until the very end. And then once you make the drawing, you can go in and edit, and it'll be all right. Everything will work out. I also don't have my sound on this file anymore, which is weird. I think it was just like I basically had to grab this file from the archives, and in doing so, I didn't grab the appropriate file that would have been heard. I don't know. So like even this part is going to be a little weird. I probably should have just ignored it for now while I continued doing the rest of the head. But like you can do the eye, that's fine. Slash it might even be like super beneficial to get the eye done in this step, just because it allows you to allows it to squish and stretch appropriately depending on like how intense the movement is or all of that. Yeah, and this is where it starts kind of getting complex too. It's like, look at these lines that may or may not connect. Wow, I do not remember this drawing at all. And like just the model, and like even this is like way toned down from the actual Midna model in the game, so that's pretty nuts. Okay, come on, let's keep it moving. And there we go. So I took a little. Ooh, actually, I'm going to erase that entirely and go back and forth on that. Okay, so it is just a weird line. Okay. That's looking pretty good. All right. These lines can extend. And pretty much everything from this point on, I'm going to need to... Oh, wait, no, I take it back. I'll need to... Oh, God, I'm trying to, like, draw real quick and talk at the same time. Why is life so hard? I'll need to go in and edit and double check all the frames and make sure everything's just working right, but for now this will do. It's already like way quicker than trying to move it through space and in between it slash get that rotation down correctly, and it's a disaster. Ugh. Okay. So this looks pretty good. Oh, right, I can do the face lines too, because like she has colors going through her face and shit, and God, this character's a goddamn disaster. All right, so, woo, it's about fucking time I got that done, right? Okay, so now we have that quote unquote perfect in between. Again, we don't know what it looks like just yet, but this is what you do. Easy peasy. Just take it, slap it. If you have roughs, which you definitely should have roughed this out before like attempting this, you kind of line it up with that. Oh, so see, she has an ooh face here. But check it out. Just like that, we now have something that looks kind of passable. And that was our movement. Also, I picked a brush that's way too big. There's definitely little problems here and there, but overall, that's pretty clean for not a lot of work. Really, the problems are in my key drawings. Like, this should not be extended out as far as it is. Again, like, this is a fucking disaster. This, like, little T-section thing. And now to kind of show you the rest of the steps to kind of play this out. Look, even most of this has already made itself off the screen. Like, all that stuff we were worried about up here just didn't happen. As for the ears starts here and kind of drags down, so you can pop that in there, no problem. This ear is getting picked up, so it'll have some air drag on it as well. Oops, let's do this. There we go. Try to avoid all them tangent lines. But yeah, this is definitely like a little technique you can do. Like, that was super quick. That wasn't difficult at all. And while I could have gone through and in betweened it by like turning this off and like going step by step and like with just the rough on, although the rough I did wasn't too bad, and tried to go through and like okay, and then edit this. Like, it was just way easier to take this really complex big shape and keep everything kind of together. So there you go. That's how you lift and trace, or place and trace, or however you want to say it. Use it at your discretion as well. This isn't like a miracle save. It's not going to be like the trick to end all tricks kind of thing. But it is a fun little thing that you could do that once you get used to it will save you some time overall. I can pretty much guarantee you that for almost this entire scene, I lift and traced like as much as I could, and it came out pretty good. Like, it's pretty smooth. Her head definitely grows, but again, that was my keys that were the problem, not necessarily the animation. So yeah, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, let me know what you think. If you want to see other kind of animation tutorials, let me know. And I'll do something a little less impromptu than this. Like, this was definitely, I just sat down, busted out the file, and was like, all right, let's make a tutorial. So yeah, hope you didn't hate it. Goodbye.